Hello, my name is Jarden, and welcome to an interesting episode where I will be judging my old Minecraft worlds. Mainly, I play on my long-term survival one, but there's been plenty of worlds and even older ones. This is my oldest world when I first got my PlayStation 4, Christmas 2015. I made this very world. I didn't get that far with it, but we're gonna have a look around at some of the things I did, and this was really my first experience of actually trying to play Minecraft because I played Pocket Edition for many years and there wasn't much else. Um, so I was preparing to kill the Ender Dragon, I think, but I never did. Um, yeah, and just a variety of resources. But the main thing, I guess, is my house and like the little things I did. From what I remember of this world, all I did was build a house, and that's what a lot of people do, which I find interesting. I do not know what this is. First judgment, this is awful and ugly, like me. Um, Another room, interesting. Um, what we're really trying to look for is have I improved it or have I just not? And already I think I can see some improvement as look at my inventory management here from like I basically played it for January in 2016 for like a few days and then I was like no, because at that time I just jumped through worlds really quickly. Here is my house, I guess. Let's sleep. We'll be looking at a variety of worlds in this video. Um, they could be creative or survival, just old stuff that I've done in the past. What kind of ladder is that? uh, Something's very questionable already. Why is there water there? Chunks of wood. It's just strange in general. One of the things I do remember, and I still think is hilarious, is I had these dispensers to push mobs back, and that was fun. I also let family come on this world, so my cousin built this house. Um, Not Luke. Luke built that Atrocity over there. Yeah, this is his box. You can tell it's very simple. And I think my building has definitely improved. Like, obviously, I liked blue glass. I wouldn't say it's a complete wooden box, but it is ugly. Um, there is another build, which I'll cut to soon. This is still like this because I converted this from the classic edition. As you can see, that is so cool. Look at that change. Um, an actual okay farm, I guess. Better than the farms I make today. But yeah, we'll cut to the last thing I did in this world because I was already moving. And guess what? It's a Hobbit Hole. It's funny how I can still remember how to travel hundreds of blocks from a world 5 years ago that I didn't even play for that long. But we have arrived at a Hobbit Hole that I was planning on moving to. As you can see, we've definitely improved in Hobbit Holes if anyone's seen the Night Blazers S&P series. Also, we have this horse called Sam the Horse, which is curious. I don't know what it's in reference to. Two anvils? An anvil and a brewing stand. This is really weird. I guess I was moving over. I guess the way I'm going to do this is judge the world by reviewing it with out of 10. I'd say a 3 out of 10 for this world. Also, you can see a jungle temple over there. That's the first jungle temple I ever found. Because at the time, Pocket Edition didn't have a lot of features. So I was never able to kill the dragon or anything. So my main Let's Play world was the first time I was able to and managed to kill the dragon. The world's really basic. The building's really ugly. But it is apparent I made some progress to killing the Ender Dragon, which is still better than a lot of people I see playing Minecraft these days. But like, what are these slabs? Let's move on to the second world. So I believe it was 3 or 4 out of 10. Atrocity of a world like this YouTube channel, and on to the next world. It's definitely interesting how much nostalgia I get from looking at these worlds. And this next case is of one I wasn't able to play much as it was with one of my best friends from like high school days. Uh, I made this house. I already prefer this to the last house we looked at. It's still using wood, but it's trying to do something different. It is still basically a square. Hashtag house, okay? Let's look in the interior, I guess. A lot of these worlds are just going to have one house, and that's kind of depressing, but it's just the way it is. Um, just because of like I play with different friends. But you can see I was still in that iron armor stage, which I think a lot of people get stuck in, interestingly enough, like playing Minecraft. Um, the interesting thing is we actually got a mycelium spawn, which was nuts. I'll show you guys that in a second. Also, down here, let's look at the bedrooms because I made all this. So this was my friend's, but we only really played once. We did find diamonds, but I gave them to him because it was like really one of his first times playing Minecraft properly. If I remember correctly, yep, secret painting room. I'd say this was around 2016. Hmm. Just in that era of like where people first was like Minecraft's dying, and I'm like no. But yeah. I'm not actually not gonna cut. I'm just gonna keep talking very awkwardly. But yeah, I think I've definitely improved. Even here, you can see it. Even though there's like weird designs with logs, like it's a bit more experimentation. Don't question the random dirt pillars. And this is also the time where I started posting little videos on the Jaden Ogden channel that sadly I deleted. But all of them were like just clips with like copyrighted music of just me showing off things in Minecraft, and we'll see a lot of those old worlds. I think it's definitely interesting though, like seeing how people have improved. And I remember this area especially because we were like, I knew that at the time I was smart enough to know that mobs wouldn't spawn here, but they could still come in through that way. So we we built that, which is really ugly. And this was our like first house, uh, which I still kind of like the idea of, like just hiding in a mushroom your first day. Sadly, that's really ugly, but there's nothing else to this world. I would honestly give this a 5. I don't know if that's just nostalgia. That's probably a bit too high. Probably a 4 realistically, but I built a house. I didn't spend much time on this world, obviously, but you can definitely see the improvement. And I think the previous world was only like a month apart from this, so I was slowly learning. Okay, this next world is an interesting one because it's not as old, um, but this was at a period where I was, because I played Java for a few years when my laptop could run it with friends, but I really wanted to come back to Bedrock. But at the time, I didn't really want to use my like world that I currently use. I was like, no, I can't just use those resources and stuff. But we have this world, and yet again, it's another example of didn't commit to it. But I actually enjoy the build I was doing here. I think it actually looks really good from the outside. Um, Ignore the dirt. That was when a friend joined. But I think this looked like a really cool tower. And you can see definitely an improvement of like uniqueness with building. Like adding those plants. It's not amazing, but like I think this had potential to go somewhere. And this was my starter base, so I'm really proud of this. For like it for a person who just got like iron armor. This wall was built by a person. I don't know why they did this. Yeah, that was all them. Uh, I built this campsite just randomly because I was bored, and I don't think it's amazing, but like it was something. And like getting wool this early without like shears or anything, or maybe we had shears. But you can see I knew how to play the game at this point, like quite well. I just didn't want to. Um, at least we have a diamond pickaxe. That's an improvement to the other worlds. Sadly, this world has been griefed with this. That happens. See, that's another lesson. The problem with the worlds and like keeping them good is sometimes people can ruin them for you. That is why my main world is a single player world because I've had a lot of bad experiences with people doing random crap like this. For this judgment of this world, I would actually say it's a 5 because I'm really judging me as a person more than anything. Because the building's not done, but like it's definitely an improvement. And this is better than stuff I do nowadays because at least it's unique, and that's what I really want to get at. So I really want to do something like this, and this has inspired me from past me, even if it was like a year ago. Not even that. It was last year, at like just before, yeah, things happened. think the lesson I'm trying to teach in this video for the audience is to commit to a world, otherwise, well, not necessarily, but sometimes if you do things like this, it won't end up good. This is an example of another Hobbit Hole. An improvement at least, so we can see a slight improvement. It's not amazing, I still prefer other ones I've done. This is also an example of a world where I was really unsure with Bedrock, because I played console edition quite a lot, but when it switched to Bedrock, PS4 didn't for years, and I kind of quit console in general and moved to Java for a bit. But this is just another. I have these worlds left just to remind me not to do this again. But yet again, you can track progress of time, and for this judgment, I would honestly say a 3, because like I died and lost all my stuff. I think I had like diamond tools in this world as well, but this was at a period where I was really unmotivated to play Minecraft, but I really wanted to, but I didn't, which is interesting. Anyway, next world, time, transition. This is yet another example of me not committing to a world. I clearly have commitment issues, as you can see. And a lot of people do struggle sticking to one world, and this was yet again in the Bedrock era, just me like starting worlds over and over again, just trying and trying to like force an interest. We have a trident at least. But yeah, this was the first world I made when I came back to Bedrock, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, structure of the house is somewhat unique, but it's not amazing. So I'm honestly going to give this a world a 1. Just another quick review. Let's move on to the next one. What scares me is the similarity of all these little survival worlds I have. I have like one little crappy build, and then just chests with stuff in. Like, as you can see, maybe I was trying to achieve something. The only thing here I actually like is I have this thumb and dock. Um, but yeah, I think the point of this video is, just like I said before, is just to remind myself, don't do this again, because it doesn't work. And don't force yourself to play a game you don't want to play at that current time. Um, yeah, let's look in the tower, I guess, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Um, it's quaint, and review 0. The reviews are getting worse. I need to find a world. Also, actually, I have a actually decent Nintendo Switch world that I played on mainly 2017, I believe, during exams, when I was meant to be studying, and that has a lot of progress. So we'll check that out maybe in a separate video, but let's move on to some other atrocities of mine that I have left in my worlds for so long. This next world isn't that old, but it's just an example with when I've tried to play with just a friend, interact with them and just let them do what they want to do. So this is the house I built, which I actually think is okay. I quite like the contrast with the spruce. The inside's pretty ugly, but it worked. Just a dog, which is pretty normal. I did have like a full set of diamond stuff, but I died in the nether and lost it all. And then there's this, which my friend deemed acceptable. Yeah, and these are just chests I was moving in. I don't even know where I pot them. Presumably they're somewhere here. Anyway. This world was not that good, but you can definitely see the improvement of building over time. Yet again, that iron armor stage, which so many people get stuck in, apparently me in these worlds. Just a cow pen, enchanting room, and let's have a look at this atrocity. Their favourite block is dirt, which is always fun. Yeah. Right, I would rate this world a 2. I don't even need to say why. You can just look at it. Just another example of just having a house and that's it. But a lot of these come from just wanting to play with a different person and not use my world because that's a solo survival world and I don't want other people on it. So into the next world, which may be the final, who knows. Here is the final world I'm going to show, and it's an interesting example of me hosting a Bedrock realm. Here is Luke's area, from what I remember. This is what he was doing on this realm. Quite interesting. He always seems to have villages and very compact buildings. That's just Luke. And Luke seems to love tiny huts. This is where he always likes to live. We're not judging Luke for once, though. We're judging me. Realms are always chaotic, and I love that part of it. But sadly, it was only really me, Luke, and another guy that were ever online on this, mainly. So let's have a look. And yet again, this is an example of me being unhappy with the world and basically leaving. Which is a problem because you can always improve things with time. Another idea I've just had is I have old Skyrim saves that I'd like old Skyrim characters. If anyone be interested, I'd love to make a video on that. I probably will, regardless of what people say. Um, okay, there's a lot of chaotic things going on here, but the main thing we can look at is this, and this was in a realm, obviously. Here we have Jan's home, which was never finished. The idea was to make like a base, and for a relatively recent house, I was very disappointed with this. I don't mind the interior so much. I actually really like the interior, but the actual outside makes it like really ugly and questionable things like that. I had stuff sorted at least. The three stones of pain. I presume I'm meaning andesite, granite, and diorite. Come again into my house and you won't have a house. Threats from other people on the server, which is quite fun. I wish they did destroy this house, and I think I had like my valuables here. Yeah, so this is actually an example of a world where I had wealth. Not as much wealth as I normally do, but you know, better than other worlds. And you might be like, why are you using snow? It's because I do not care. I guess the last thing we can do, just because we're showing off worlds, this is the problem with having realms and having a friend who loves doing those cobblestone casts with like lava and water. You can probably see there we started mining and exploding it, but yeah, that was always a serious problem with the dude over here. I don't know what that is. He planted all this bamboo as well. Pretty obsessive. And this is his compound basically. I'm gonna have to be careful here, as he said some questionable signs. I made this simple wheat farm and the start of a sugarcane farm. Snow stuff, and that was him. Uh, he had a very interesting design. I'm not going to read those signs because reasons. But basically, he was a communist apparently, and he had this like whole society. I do respect the big salmon in a tank, and I don't even think he did that on purpose. I don't even know those aren't big salmon. There's salmon at least. This was his house. Um, yeah, but there wasn't. The reason I stopped this realm is because I lost interest, and so did the people. And the problem with realms is trying to keep people on them and having active people. Because if you're just playing it, it's not fun. Because like, what's the point of sacrificing your render distance and stuff, to join an atrocity like this? But anyway, that'll be it for this video. I do have other worlds, but I did a previous video on the creative ones, but I don't think it was that good, so I wouldn't recommend watching it anyway. Thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave hate comments and unsubscribe. I definitely didn't steal that from Adorable Ho. Plagiarism is a common thing anyway. Goodbye.